Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to China. So for almost a week now, I've been traveling a little bit in China, getting a taste of what's really been updating, what's happening here in China right now. So right now I'm in Guizhou province, and the aim of this episode is really to show you guys what it's like in China and explain a few things that's happening in the blockchain space, just add some context to it. So for example, we've seen Facebook Libra being called the WeChat moment, the WeChat Pay moment for the Western world. And I'll show you guys how WeChat Pay is working here and how ubiquitous it is, and really how that QR code can be just applied anywhere for payments. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the blockchain situation here. So it's weird because in China, they're really excited for any sort of new technologies. Like blockchain is a big word here, and I attend the big Data Expo here in Guizhou, and you can see blockchain at the forefront at the center. But funnily enough, they don't talk about anything about coins because coins are kind of very taboo. So I'll kind of explain why that is, what's happening, why people actually need to use a lot of blockchain's features here, and well, show you guys what real China is like.
Something that we know is that international news coverage of what's happening in the blockchain space in China is sometimes very wrong. But what I've been doing recently is working with Asia Crypto Today to uncover what's really happening behind the Great Firewall of China. So if you guys want some really updated information about what's really happening and what's upcoming as well, check out asiacryptotoday.com. There's now a race between the Chinese payment methods like WeChat Pay and Facebook Libra to become the dominant blockchain payment method. Now, you see this stall over here, it actually accepts WeChat Pay. And it's super easy to integrate because all you need is a really badly printed out QR code and people can start scanning and paying. And yep, that's a food motorcycle. Pretty badass. And this one is too. So with WeChat Pay being ubiquitous around China, comes the next question. Will China launch its own version of the Facebook Libra clone? And right now, this discussion is really heating up. For example, recently, the CEO of Huawei, and we know Huawei has really close connections with the government, he's basically quoted to say, you know what? Yeah, China can develop its own Facebook, its own currency. Why should China wait for other countries to do so? He really thinks, when he goes on to say that China is bigger than just a bunch of internet startups, it could be greater than that, it could create its own currency. And from the kind of political situation, why this is important is because Facebook Libra really added to the competition. It really woke the government up. So even though before the tech giants were not in favor of creating their own currency, now it seems like the Americans really brought the war to the Chinese. Now they want to create their own. And in many senses, it does make sense. If China wants to expand its control, if it wants to expand its reach outside of just China alone to its neighbors, then why not? If other people are holding basically a China coin, very much like how everyone is holding WeChat Pay, if they're holding that currency and it's based on the renminbi, then China can be in a very powerful situation. So this is why right now there's just so many news articles popping up in China talking about the Chinese government being more welcoming to the tech giants creating their own China coin.
So one conversation that popped up recently is that Facebook Libra wanted to take on China, like actually for the Chinese to use the Libra and compete with Alipay and WeChat Pay. Well, this is 100% fiction. So the simple answer is no way. There's no way this is going to happen because in China, the only possible national currency, or the only currency that's allowed in China, is the renminbi. So you can't create your own currency. That's why Bitcoin in many ways is not considered a currency here, and you cannot accept Bitcoin for payments. It's actually illegal to do so. So you can't open a Bitcoin bar or a Bitcoin cafe or whatnot. So Libra, no.
In summary, my take is that China is definitely going to develop its own Facebook Libra alternative. Now, in terms of what it holds, it'll definitely be the renminbi because that's the only legal currency. And then in terms of limitations, there'll be definitely a lot of restrictions on what you can do with it. So in that sense, it won't be very useful per se as a international store of value, but what will be useful and what I'll be eyeing is how you can kind of exchange that currencies with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
So here they have this big data expo, and with big data comes our favorite blockchain. So I came here, I actually just registered to this event to see what they're doing with big data, if it has any relevance, and if they talk about coins or not, and how China's treating this whole blockchain event.
As with almost every event in China, there's always an education section where you sit down and you view clips of how awesome everything is. And this one is definitely not an exception.
All right, that was pretty boring back there. So let's go off by our own. Let's see if we can explore without getting caught. Anyways, I think this whole exhibit is to kind of promote this general idea of growing new technologies. They kind of bundled everything together here. So not sure what they can really achieve, but I think it's mostly like a display, like, hey, come here and invest some money sort of thing, without actually soliciting. Anyway, so I think something that's interesting about China is that they're trying so hard to push for the new technologies. They have like a smart mall display over there. They're trying to bring everything to the modern age. You see a prolific use of QR codes. That's always a classic. Yo, this is cool. This is the Gartner Hype Cycle for Emerging Technologies. It looks like the Bitcoin price. That's 2017 right there. And then we drop down here. We're going up the slope of enlightenment right now, and the plateau of productivity. I wonder why they always put these robotics here. It's an educational robot, sure. Whoa.
Now onto the section that we're interested in, the blockchain section. Real economy, la la.
So this exhibit is very typical Chinese. So they talk about a lot about using blockchain technologies. You got QR codes to track items, to do management, to supply chain management. But what's really powerful about blockchain is that it's an open public consensus. That was what Satoshi Nakamoto first solved. That's what he solved where other people failed, is how you can have consensus, a public consensus, and resist against attacks. That was the novel aspect of Bitcoin, because you can allow anyone can become a node, anyone can start mining and join the network, but they must involve some sort of commitment, and the coin is a reward for said commitment. So at its very core, blockchain technically needs some sort of form of reward for the honest participants. Otherwise, no one's going to be honest, and then the kind of attackers will win.
So all the displays here, it seems like they just remove the coin and the packaging, and they just want to talk and avoid the taboo subjects. But honestly, this has to go away over time, because what we already see is VeChain is being deployed in Walmart in a test trial to do supply chain management. And also, they're being used in Guiyan district as well.
So something that we definitely discussed and explored on this channel is that in China, there's a lot of blockchain scams. I mean, we actually went to an event before, and there was just every type of chain. You got Mary chain, T chain, whatever. Name anything and attach blockchain to it, and people raise money, and then they just run away with it. So that's why there's a lot of strong regulation that counteracting it. And also, of course, with currency control, renminbi can be the only currency here. So the status here, of course, is that people want to talk about blockchain, but at the same time, the official parties want to avoid talking about the currency aspect of it, the investment aspect of it. And at its very core, I actually feel like the reason why a lot of people do get spammed or scammed in this space is the lack of good information. So if you think about it, we have Google, and generally you can get the questions you're looking for and the answers you're looking for. But in China, they don't have Google. Google's banned. So you have Baidu and 360. And both of these platforms, to be honest, they're not too good. They're very good at making money. If you want to search, rank on the searching on Baidu or Qihoo, you got to really pay for it, unfortunately. Otherwise, you get landed on page 2. So a lot of the scams, they can pay money to rank highly, and that's why they can get those clicks and kind of misdirect people. And that's the dangerous part. It's that information searching, which is important.
And that's it for my adventure in China. So the event itself, I felt like the big data event, it's a very different tone from what I've seen in the past with the crypto conferences. I mean, crypto conferences is always about, soliciting new coins, invest in this. Here it's more about like, how much the government and the whole big enterprises in space, what they're trying to do in this space. Now, obviously, because the event is very closely tied with the government, they definitely want you to show you the best. And what we've been doing in this channel is also exploring what's happening on the ground level. So previously, I have some videos up, and I'll put the links on the side and down below about what's happening in the real mining scene. For example, like the fact that mining isn't banned at all, ASICs are on sale in a lot of places in China, and what Chinese miners are really thinking, which I find that super cool. So if you guys want more content like that, I made a special list for you, so make sure you check that out. And if you guys really want to see what's really happening on the ground level in China, get updated with news as well, make sure you check out Asia Crypto Today. And well, I definitely had an amazing time editing up this video, and I hope to show you guys more. So if you guys have any suggestions of places where to go and what to see in China, make sure you leave that on the comment section below, and well, I'll try to travel there and show you what's happening.